we are the 4-H staff from Marion County and Polk County. Last year our help was requested at State Fair check-in, and we learned a lot of things along the way. We put this video together for you guys so that we are able to help you have a successful and hopefully a stress-free day of checking in at the State Fair.
All right, my name is Mindy. I am the CYC in Marion County. I'm going to go through really quick what I think you might need to keep in, like my State Fair exhibit box. So you can keep it in a box, you can keep it in a tub, you can keep it in a bag, whatever you want to do. It's just kind of helpful to have just in case. Hopefully you actually don't need it when you get there, but I always like to keep food preservation labels in there. You know, just in case one falls off or gets ripped or any of those kinds of things. Just some blank labels that you might write, you know, you write their name and the county and how many pieces are in each project. Keep some of those extra. Lots of writing utensils, highlighters, permanent markers, pens, all of that kind of stuff, because you never know exactly what you might need those for. I like to keep a couple different types of tape, masking tape and Scotch tape, just in case you need either one. Paper punch, scissors. I like to keep binder clips. I have safety pins in here in case you need to attach anything to like clothing items. Again, lots of writing utensils. I keep string just in case for some reason you forgot to string something together or you need longer amounts of string, whatever. Keep your string in your box with you. I have whiteout. I have super glue, not that you would ever break one of your projects, but on the just in case. And on the same note, I keep a hot glue gun for the same reason, because sometimes in transit things happen. So that's what I keep in my State Fair exhibit box, just kind of prepare for the unexpected. Hopefully, again, you don't need any of it, but that's my State Fair prep box.
My name is Marcy Vincent, and I'm one of the county youth coordinators for the Polk County Extension Office. I'm going to show you how to prepare a food exhibit for the State Fair today. So I'm going to first start off here. I have these 6 beautiful cookie specimens. You want to make sure that there's 6 items on your plate per the State Fair rules. And here's what else you need to do. So you want to make sure that your cookies or whatever you are bringing are safely contained in some kind of where they're not going to get contaminated or dry out or anything. So I'm just going to use a plastic baggie. I'm going to seal it shut. I take, and so I'm not puncturing the actual baggie, up here in the seam I take my hole punch and I punch a hole into this. It takes a little bit of time. Sometimes the hole doesn't actually come out, but you actually have a hole there. And then I'm going to take, in the back of my binder, I have a hole punched as well. So this is a project from last year, so the ribbon's already attached. I'm going to attach my tags so that it's on the front. And the ribbon's going to get in my way, so I'm going to take that bad boy off. I'm going to take my string. I'm going to take and connect my note card, or my entry tag, through my binder, maybe. And then into my baggie. So I want to make sure that all of them are well connected so that they can't get separated. Sometimes you'll have larger things like cakes, brownies, different things like that, where you might have, or a pie where you have the whole pan. Make sure that it's covered. If it's on a piece of cardboard, you can do the same thing and do a punch hole here. But you want something sturdy so that your item doesn't get ruined, because last thing I want is a kid's project to get ruined by me. Then it comes to labeling. So you want to make sure that you get all of your materials back. So we're going to take and we'd put a label on the back of our notebook as well as our item itself. So just on the outside of a bag. And we'll talk about a little bit later in our video on how to do the labels.
My name is Lauren Peterson, and I am the youth assistant here in Marion County. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about doing your exhibit descriptions for State Fair exhibits, and also how to properly label and attach all of your exhibits prior to going up to fair. So the first part is when you get all your exhibits back in your office prior to heading up to State Fair, you'll want to make sure that you have an accurate description of each exhibit to put into fair entry that will actually be then printed on the tags. So like for this photo, and photos kind of tend to be one of the ones that people don't put enough detail on. So for this photo, I would say it is a 8x10 horizontal photo of a sunset with a tree in the center of the photo and the sun kind of in the upper right hand quadrant, and there is water with a person fishing on the shoreline. That gives you a pretty good description of that, and some directional factors will help make sure if somebody has a similar photo that it is not the same. And then, speaking of photos, since I have this in front of you, when you attach your fair entry tag, you are going to want to put that in the upper right hand corner of the photo, and then the write-up just gets put on the back of the photo. And you can just tape those on. Use a short piece of string so it just kind of hangs right over the edge of the photo, but it can be moved so then the judges can see the entire photo without something in the way. Some of the other information that you will need when you are collecting your information for your descriptions is your department and class number, the exhibitor's name, number of years in that project area, and number of pieces in the project. So if we kind of move on to this project, so this is a multi-piece project where one of our youth did a basket of bath bombs that they had made themselves. So for this one, everything counts as a piece. So you have your basket, there are 4 bath bombs, and then a write-up. So there's a total of 6 pieces. And each of these pieces needs to be attached when you go to send them up to State Fair. So I've got her entry tag over here attached to the basket. And then from the basket, I have another string that goes and is tied around each of her 4 bath bombs. And then it continues on over to her write-up. Also, each item needs a label that has the exhibitor's name, the department that they're in, the county, and like number 1, 1 of 6 type thing. So we started with, we've got a label on the bottom of the basket, each bath bomb has a label, and then her write-up has a label on the back. The labels you can use, like the peel and stick mailing labels, masking tape, doesn't really matter as long as it's a label and it's legible and probably not pencil because they rub off. I'll give you guys kind of an example of a description of this bath bomb project. I would say, the project is contained within a small wicker basket. They have a small heart-shaped blue bath bomb, a large blue round bath bomb, a large pink bath bomb, and a white with a pink stripe bath bomb. And then the write-up is contained in a sleeve with white binding on it. So that should be pretty well sufficient for that. One thing I do want to touch on quick is when you want to have all your stuff attached as well as you can prior to going to State Fair. Sometimes, depending on how they are packaged, you might not be able to attach everything to be able to fit it into your vehicle or trailer to haul it up to fair. The other thing is, especially when you're dealing with projects that are fragile, we always put it on the kids to make sure you bring that project into us in whatever packaging you feel is necessary to keep it safe. So this one was packed in a box with some newspapers and stuff around it to keep it from sliding around. A lot of our photos are either put in baggies or in padded envelopes. If there's something fragile, we encourage them to use some bubble wrap because we use whatever packaging they provide us, and that's what we haul them to and from the fair with. But yeah, if you can have as much of this done prior to going up to fair, that'll save you a lot of time when you're there.
I am Megan Friel. I am the 4-H and Nutrition Internal Program Coordinator for Polk County Extension. And I'm going to cover your day that you bring your items to the fair. Before you come to the fair, at least 1 week before check-in, you want to print off your entries from Fair Entry. If you wait until right before check-in, you won't have the access to the system, so make sure you do that in advance. When packing your exhibits to take them to the fair, arrange them by department and class, so it's easier to attach your judging sheet and get them to the correct check-in areas. It'll save you a lot of time. Make sure you pack your supply bag or box or whatever you want with all of your necessary items that Mindy talked about earlier. If you have families bringing their own exhibits, be sure to communicate with them to ensure they arrive at your designated check-in time. Provide them with the parking pass, directions, and instructions on where to meet. Be on time. Don't be early, don't be late. Showing up over half an hour early will not help you get through the process any faster, and it is unfair to the counties that showed up at their scheduled time and have to wait on you checking in when you're not at your scheduled time. The same goes for showing up late, which makes every county checking in after you late as well. You'll be assigned 1 cart per county and 1 table to unload your projects, not more than 1, to take into the 4-H building. Try to unload and unload the cart as quickly as possible and efficiently as possible so the next county can use it. You can unload your items at the designated check-in table or onto/next to the stage. If you have large exhibits that you want to unload next to the door, please unload the projects and immediately move your vehicle to a designated parking area so other people can unload. Do not leave your vehicle parked next to the garage door while you check in. As you are unloading and unpackaging your exhibit, be sure to arrange them by department and class. This will make it easier to place them with their correct judging entry form, and also be sure that all the tags are attached to the exhibit and all of the pieces of the exhibit are still strung together and labeled. Each exhibit must be put with the correct judging form. Each exhibitor should have an entry form for each exhibit. The judging entry form will have the exhibitor's name and the exhibit description on the top of the page.
Ladies?
Be sure we'll be floating around up at the 4-H exhibit building at State Fair, hopefully wearing matching shirts to be determined. But if you see us, please do not hesitate to come up and ask us with any sort of question. Also, please feel free, our emails, addresses are included in with this message, to contact us prior to the fair if you have any questions or have any trouble labeling and prepping your projects for fair.